It is Dom time. Good Tuesday, everyone. Welcome in. Dom Giordano show. As I just told Dawn, Mrs. Pringle, yes, there is a Mrs. Pringle, the head of the National Education Association. Now, as I remember it, their convention was a week or 10 days or so ago, but sometimes these things dribble out. We played you. Rush used to play this. I played it every year as a reminder. The retiring executive director of the NEA at their convention one year, and Dan's looking for it. We'll play it a little bit later. He stood up and said, it's not about educating kids. It's not because we care. It's we have power. And they all jump up like it's a communist youth league screaming. How do they think that looks to parents? Well, listen to Mrs. Pringle. We're going to play you the short version first, then a little bit longer. I don't know if she needed an intervention or maybe even an exorcism. This woman is demented, and it's demented the stuff that she's saying, rallying the troops. And yet these teachers, now these are the activists, but there are thousands of them, they can't get enough of this. This is the type of stuff that you think it's a cartoon. So this is at their annual convention. And Dan, it's so oblique, I would say, what she's talking about. It's not direct in any way, shape, or form, even where this goes. And by the way, why am I under fire on Twitter? Because I said I was liking the debut of Jesse Waters yesterday. Is Jesse Waters now to the mob on Twitter out of bounds? I know they're sore because of Tucker Carlson. I get that. But I thought Waters was the perfect thing for Fox to do because they don't have another Tucker Carlson. They don't have someone of that gravitas that's going to talk that sort of stuff. So what are they going to do? Close up shop? I thought it was a pretty good debut last night. All right. But anyhow, here's Mrs. Pringle. This is the first salvo in which he's encouraging these teachers to scream and go crazy about what their purported mission is. Yes.
And Dom, the visual of this is just as entertaining as the audio.
Yeah, that's right.
So youtube.com/@1210WPHT, where we have clips like this one where you just got to see it.
You got to get there now. Let me give a little pause. Yeah.
Yeah, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Don't miss this. This is some great clips.
That's one of the reasons I asked for both clips, because after hearing the first one, people will want more Pringles here. We need more Pringle. All right, here's
potato chip queen.
Here's it's you just can't, it's like a stack. You just I need more. I've never interviewed her. I have interviewed Randy Weingarten 3 or 4. And Randy Weingarten's a great guest. I mean, particularly when you get in the ring with her. This woman, I think, would be more combative, though, and nuts. Here's Betsy Pringle.
We are required to fight for fair and free elections and a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. This radical court struck yet another blow against our LGBTQ plus community that actually licenses discrimination under the First Amendment.
Here we go.
NEA, we all dissent.
Yeah, let's go.
We all dissent.
Go Eagles.
And we will change this world for our students with that inner fire burning. We will
get the
never
exorcist.
bend.
Where is he?
Wait.
Oh my God. All right. That's the short version. You know, and you're thinking reading and math scores. No, LGBTQ plus, abortion, elections, unfair. If you think that's demented. All right. So Dan, tell them where to go again quickly.
youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Okay. Please like and subscribe. This visual is amazing.
Here's part 2.
Oh, you want it now?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, here's part 2.
All right, where's my sound? Here it is.
Seattle. I can hear Chief Seattle crying out to us, urging us to remember, when you know who you are, when your mission is clear, and you burn with the inner fire of an unbreakable will. No cold can touch your heart. No deluge can dampen your purpose. And yea, you are those stars in the darkness. Your light will not be dimmed. Your purpose will drive you.
Wait a minute,
in
you're
a
the people that close
righteous Fight
schools.
for freedom because you know who you are.
Yes, the people that kept schools closed. We kept them
You
closed.
know
Yes,
who you are.
yes,
You are the NEA. Our mission is clear. We will advocate for the rights of education professionals, and we will change this world for our students with that inner fire burning. We will never bend. We will never be broken.
We stack
because
potato
we are the
chips.
NEA, and we will always do what we must to be worthy of our students. Thank you, NEA, for all you do every day for our babies and for our colleagues.
If they don't get
and
aborted,
for your
yes,
state
if they don't get
and
aborted,
for
those
this
babies.
country. Onward, NEA.
Oh, yes.
Onward,
Now let's go and shut
NEA.
down those schools.
Onward.
Oh my God.
I love
That's not made up. That's an actual perk. Give me your is it any wonder why? Is it any wonder why the teachers' unions have such trouble? Why there's such antagonism? They're the ones that kept schools, shut down schools, and they would do it again. Now, yesterday, Dan was asked by Kim Ward. She's the president of the Pennsylvania Senate to come on the show. They're the ones fighting with Shapiro after he reneged on the deal to help kids get out of these public schools, which is this woman's the face of it. Pringle. She's the head of the largest union, bigger than Weingarten. Now, Weingarten is a more ubiquitous figure. This woman's usually not the face. How's the media not showing this stuff? You think the news should be showing us this is what goes on at the teachers' convention? Here is Bob Chanin. Now, this guy was retiring as the head of the NEA, either executive director or legal counsel, big guy, the power. And I remember over the years, Rush seemed like he played this every week. I know I played it 20 times because he encapsulates. He's talking to these teachers. It's not because of the kids. It's not because of the curriculum. It's not because of what we do educationally. And then he says the big word. It's like E.F. Hutton. He leans in. It's power. And they go wild. So here's a former, he's retiring, counsel of the NEA.
Affiliates are such effective advocates. Despite what some among us would like to believe, it is not because of our creative ideas. It is not because of the merit of our positions. It is not because we care about children, and it is not because we have a vision of a great public school for every child. NEA and its affiliates are effective advocates because we have power. And we have power because there are more than 3.2 million people who are willing to pay us hundreds of millions of dollars in dues each year because they believe that we are the unions that can most effectively represent them, the unions that can protect their rights and advance their interests as education employees.
Yes, power. All right, let's stop there. There you go. Standing ovation. It's power. All right, so yesterday, Matt Bradford, I mentioned this, Kim Ward will be on the show today. This ongoing battle with Shapiro making national news. This guy, Matt Bradford, is the head majority leader in the House. He's the guy that held all this up. He said yesterday the reason he's holding it up, the vouchers, is because it's not enough money for the kids and it doesn't affect enough kids. The others are going to be held hostage there. Okay. The answer is let's double it. Let's make it 200 million. Let's affect more kids. He's the Democrat in this. Why is it they will not allow this? Well, you just heard Betsy Pringle. That's why. They're scared to death of these teachers' unions. They're scared to death of these foot soldiers, etc. And they're afraid that school choice will work, and then we'll see the breakdown of this empire that's built up with these crazies. That's the reason why they're not going to allow it. It is hard to believe. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. I want to play cut 11A, too, before we give the side question today. Riley Gaines will join us at 12:30 today. She's got a brand new podcast, a lot to talk about with her. Michael Brashlos is one of those historians. Brashlos.
Did you see the rest of the show like that?
He's the guy they whisper in the ear of Joe Biden. They whisper in the ear of Joe Biden. He's not comparing Trump to Hitler anymore. He said stuff like that. He's one of the top 3 historians that you see on all the shows. This from MSNBC. Now he's comparing Trump and DeSantis. But first, we'll start with Trump. He's comparing Trump to Mussolini.
Talk about the danger, the level of danger to American democracy.
Well, if you love Mussolini, you will love what Donald Trump is talking about for 2025. Mussolini followed the unitary executive theory, too, which meant total power to the dictator, no constraints. This is about as un-American, I think you will all agree, as anything I've ever heard. I mean, the reason why this country was founded was as a rebuke to the British king. We wanted to develop a system where you could not have a king, you could not have a dictator. Power was under constraint. When you were at Tuscaloosa, Joe, I'm sure that you talked about, as you have ever since, the fact that there are checks and balances, 3 branches of government. That's all James Madison, who used to be a conservative hero. Now comes along Donald Trump, the first major candidate in American history to say outright, I want a presidential dictatorship. I can't think of anything that's more out of the American tradition.
When has Trump said that? These guys. Amazing. Yeah, Mussolini now. All right, one quick thing before I give you the side question. We take your calls at 855-839-1210. I love it when somebody goes to the inside of the show. This email from Jess Patrick. Youngkin, you keep on talking about Youngkin. If he does run, it will be as crass as the campaign of DeSantis, and for the same reasons. Anyway, if somehow the campaign of Youngkin manages to get him to poll above Vivek Ramaswamy, I will sing a duet on the air with Earl of Tacony.
Hey!
There you go.
I love it.
I love it. So, Jess, let's hope that Youngkin gets in. You will be with Earl of Tacony. Pick out the duet. If he polls higher than Vivek Ramaswamy in at least one poll. But this guy is Jess Patrick. It's Roy Stevens from the backwoods of Buckingham, is really into the show where he comes up with a bet like that. I admire that. All right. So side question today, listener suggestion. Give us what you think would be the perfect last meal. That's what we're looking for, the last meal. And Dan, I'm thinking of some Pringles now. I got to go in the snack thing here and get some Betsy Pringles.
Take a stack of Pringles as the last meal?
No. I'm taking Captain Chucky's products in a 7 fishes motif.
Okay.
Yeah, I need the 7 fishes. It's going to be a long last meal.
Dom roll like Captain Chucky's.
Yes.
That
counted, all this counting for the 7 fishes. Definitely. How about yours?
I'm going to take some, go to Chinatown. I'll have the, person who's going to fry me or however they're going to, kill me. I'll have them go out to Chinatown, go out and find the best wonton noodle soup. Roast pork wonton noodle soup. And that would be my last meal.
Just that?
Yeah. Maybe some General Tso's chicken too.
Eating kind of light there for a last meal. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't need all the 7 fishes in front of me like a spread. Come on.
I'm making this last prior to that ending coming up. All right. It's 855-839-1210. That's a great listener suggestion we've never done. What is a great last meal? AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210 and we'll get you on board. President Obama has now weighed in on the book ban hoax, and President Trump announces he's gotten a target letter on January 6th from Jack Smith, the special prosecutor. So that tells us they're probably going to open, almost certainly, another charge, something January 6th related. How many trials can Trump fit in and run for president? And does every one of these help him in the end? All straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Crunchy, crunchy, potato chips, crunch, crunch.
Never a frown with golden brown.
It is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. So we're having a lot of fun. You missed it, though, if you're not subscribed to the station's YouTube, YouTube channel.
YouTube.com/@1210 WPHD.
I'm told by the big voice in the sky, Greg Stocker, Michael Washlos, Greg Stocker, that we're only 94 subscribers away. from 4,000.
Ooh, hey,
I remember it was just like, can we reach 1,000 here? Yeah.
there's got to be 94 people out there that haven't looked at our YouTube yet. Go over now, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go like and subscribe. It's a huge, huge thing for us.
And we do show a lot of footage on there. The
A
Pringle
lot of
stuff.
footage, a lot of footage, and sometimes
Yeah.
stuff seeps through the cracks. Like, for example, I didn't put up a billboard until 30 seconds into the break this past time, and people happened to catch that you were eating something. We're wondering what the heck it was that you were eating back there.
I had a lot of meetings here prior to the show. I couldn't get into my usual routine today.
What was that?
Huh?
Was it a pasta salad?
salad?
Yeah, that's what it
yes.
looked like, a
Yeah,
pasta salad.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of things. So RFK, we've talked about this a little bit yesterday. Look, the guy shoots from the hip, says some wild stuff. He's at a dinner event, and he starts talking about COVID. And there have been articles written on this claiming that the Chinese were trying to weaponize this so it would not affect as much people that are Chinese. He talked about biolabs and DNA, and we're trying to do something like it. And he happened to mention Jews. And as a result of that, he should clarify this a whole lot more, what he said. Do I think anything's possible with the Chinese trying to do anything? But do I think you could calibrate this ethnically? No. I think it's kind of wacky, to put it mildly. But Dan, the big thing is this, that his sister and then his nephew have both savaged him now on this. They've come out attacking him. Now, when's the last time the Kennedys did that? Do you know what today's anniversary is? Today is the anniversary of Chappaquiddick. And I just wanted to take a moment. One of my mentors, I had 3 or 4 in talk radio. One of the greats was Tom Marr from Baltimore and here in Philadelphia. And Dan, every time he called Teddy Kennedy the chap of Quiddick, you had to be there. But imagine the Kennedys who dummy up on all the things that they've done over the course of time. You could have a top 100 of the outrageous things that one Kennedy after another has done. The deaths, the Chappaquiddick is probably the principal one, right? A woman dies there. He goes back and politically he's trying to figure out, not is there still a chance to rescue her, but how do I get out of this? And today's the anniversary on this day in history. And the Kennedys are attacking Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, I'm not saying that Kennedy Jr. is on point with this. I'm just saying, though, we know why they're attacking him. They're scared to death that he is going to make it difficult for Joe Biden, even more so. The ladies on The View today, all at Twitter. Now, think about, we hear from people all the time on the left, or at least liberals, about democracy. And we know we're a republic, not a democracy. We hear that Trump is a threat to democracy. What are they in meltdown mode of? And that is third-party candidates. Cornel West might do enough with the Green Party to maybe throw a state, probably because he's to the left, to Trump. And then this no labels party, which are these guys? They're just too good for everything else. If they run Joe Manchin or somebody else, they actually could do this in a couple of states. So suddenly, people on the left do not like the idea of what they call democracy. Suddenly, we have to be just into the 2 parties. We can't have a third party. Why? Because the third party cuts against Biden. It shows the weakness of Biden, how he's just being held up just to win, and he's not effectively representing these people. And in any numbers that you do, it wildly cuts against Biden, not Trump. Now, the last candidate that did, and I think it was around 19 points, H. Ross Perot got, all right, and helped Bill Clinton more than anything win. Now, I don't know that Herbert Walker Bush would have beaten Bill Clinton, but Perot did very well. Do I think Robert Kennedy Jr. will run as an independent? Well, Dan, you put this up, right? Another example of the Kennedys, the lobotomy of Rosemary Kennedy.
Yeah, and the silencing and censorship that the family was able to, protrude for so long.
for the Kennedy assassination even.
Yeah.
75 years of that. Why? Why is that not a matter? It was a very public thing. You know what it did too? It opened up the door to one conspiracy after another. Now, I saw the other day, Posner is a guy. I was even thinking, we'll see if there's enough interest in getting him back on. He believes, as I do, it was Lee Harvey Oswald. I've been to the Kennedy Museum. If you're in Dallas, you got to go there. And you actually stand, Dan, then have it in kind of reinforced, strong plexiglass. It's not plexiglass, but strong material. You can see right where Oswald sat. I don't remember if the rifle's there or not. You can actually look where he's looking down on the plaza in that Texas Book Depository. They took that building and they made floors of it into a Kennedy Museum. It's amazing. So when you see that, he did it. Posner is just out recently saying more and more people now believe that Oswald did it rather than this vast conspiracy in several polls. And he thinks that's a good thing. And I believe that's the case. So, and today we have Kennedy's Chappaquiddick. Would RFK Jr. run as a third party? I don't see him doing it. If he did, I think whoever the Republican is would win, without a doubt.
There had to be a second shooter, though, right?
No,
No? No, the grassy knoll?
no. I've been to the grassy. You have to see this too. These conspiracy nuts. One guy's using like a truck battery to run his stuff, and they have film. Dealey Plaza is just filled with these guys selling all kinds of assassination stuff. But if you stand behind where Oswald's chair is, that's the closest I've ever been to history, really, that you're actually standing right there looking out the window. It's an amazing, amazing museum. All right, so Chappaquiddick today.
You don't think it was too hard of a shot?
No,
No?
not for somebody. He was a crack. The weapon he was using. I know there was a lot of
Like
action.
a point blank right through the guy's head? I mean,
Yeah, no, I think Oswald certainly had the capability to do it.
You don't think it was the driver in the front seat?
No. So, all right. You got the side question. We got that going. DJ just sent this, and there's a big repercussion to it. Single use. You know how I hate that. Single use plastic bags. All right, you get a plastic bag, you carry your stuff home, right? How's it a single use when you then use it to put stuff in, like what I have here every day, my lunch? Does that look like a single use? That looks like a pretty hefty thing there that we have going on. No, constantly we reuse these bags. So plastic bags are banned in Upper Marion. You know what that means? King of Prussia Mall. What's that going to be like when you come out of the mall? What are they going to have you put your stuff in?
You know how they give you like the boxes at BJ's?
Yeah, is that what they're going to
Just be
do?
walking around with giant boxes now?
I don't know. It doesn't say. I can't tell if it's paper bags too. Is that what they'll use? This Amanda Capoletti, the state senator, she's the one that said kids should be able to go and get COVID injections without their parents' knowledge, and abortions and everything else. She says mitigating the effects of climate change and global warming will take societal change. Banning plastic bags is an effective way to increase the usage of reusable options, reducing the need for single-use plastics that can take decades to decompose. I don't know anybody that just uses. Now, Narberth was the first municipality to pass the measure. That was in 2018. Upper Marion, Upper Moreland, also have banned foam containers used as go-to boxes. So what's the mall going to do, though? What are they going to use? You're right. What are they going to hand out? Upper Marion residents use an estimated 12 million single-use plastic bags, while Upper Moreland uses 9 million. That sounds like a lot, but I'm not sure how many people might be in those locales over the course of a year. I just want to know what the mall is going to do about it. All right, Riley Gaines in the on-deck circle. Let's get to Bill in Bucks. Bill, what's that last meal for you?
Well, it's at 9th and Wharton and Passyunk.
Okay.
It's pad steak with wit.
All right, that's a good choice.
Okay, yeah,
All
I like the
right.
fat steaks.
Yeah, just don't get the hoagie put on top of it like John Kerry.
Yeah, no,
that's the only
bad.
thing you don't want to
No.
do. All right, we got you for that one. That's a good start. Riley Gaines in the on-deck circle. Hey, I just mentioned last meals, right? I mentioned Captain Chucky's 7 fishes. It's always time, even last meals, to get to Captain Chucky's. But especially now, they have 2 delicious new ravioli varieties to select from. Captain Chucky and the Vera Pasta Company. Order now for your all-time summer cookouts and greetings. Don't forget Captain Chucky's blush sauce to pair with your ravioli. Pick up your new banging crab and lobster ravioli, and now available Captain Chucky's new blush sauce. Captain Chucky's has several choices: breaded, non-breaded crab cakes, literally a crab cake for everybody. Dessert, soup, sides, appetizers. My personal favorite, the Dom roll. They only use the highest quality ingredients. Ergolf shrimp, a huge hit. It's always wild caught, never farm raised. Order a shrimp tray, crab cakes. Ask about the banging crab and lobster ravioli. Visit the independent owners of the satellite stores, 18, soon 20 locations. Say hello to Wayne and Elaine Jones in Chester Springs, Frank Turillo in Bluebell, John and Cindy Clark in Huntington Valley. In Ocean City, see Chris and Donna Ryan and Sia, how the McCann family. In Avalon, see the Vasilati family. Shore locations open daily. And congrats to Sam Cancelleri and Irish Mike McGarry as they prepare to open their new Chucky store in Medford, New Jersey. Coming soon to Northeast Philly, Home Circle. Congrats to the Graziani family. Remember, we love crabcakes.com. If you're headed to the shore, check out Captain Chucky's at theshore.com. All right, welcome in, everyone. Big issues, big guests. We love having Riley James here, particularly, Dan, today to get her comments on transgender NCAA swimmer or former Leah Thomas embracing the domestic terror group Antifa. I'm looking at Leah posting on Leah's social media a T-shirt in support of the domestic terrorist Antifa. Who knew this was all part of the thing, but it all kind of, it's intersectionality, right? Let's go to Riley Gaines on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Riley, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, Riley, we thought of you instantly when we saw this. Have you seen the Antifa a shirt that Leah Thomas has on, and apparent support for Antifa?
I definitely, I have. And I wish I could say I was surprised, right? I mean, this is something, and I like how you use the word, this intersects, this whole movement on top of Antifa, on top of the slew of other things deeply hidden in Thomas's social media. I'm not surprised. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disturbing. We've seen Antifa. We see the way they call for violence to achieve their aims. And it's of course not pretty. And so this is something that doesn't shock me by any means.
Well, I would think, I don't know if you know, the time you were attacked at that university, they're the elements, even if they're not directly everyday Antifa, they're loosely associated with, they endorse the same sort of tactics that they feel they can do anything to you.
Absolutely. That's what they do. And I think it's because they know they don't have truth on their side. That's why we've seen this rise in violence, especially among left-leaning protesters, is because that's all they can resort to dissuade from your argument, to try to deter you, to get you to be quiet. They resort to physical violence. They resort to harassment and name-calling and property damage and doxing and all of those different things because they can't have a logical debate, especially in regards to this issue surrounding sports. Because it really is, we have science on our side. It's undeniable. We learn the differences between men and women, especially as it pertains to strength, when we're in elementary school. I have a younger brother, and I would never admit this to him, but he could kick my butt. And that's something we learn at a young age. And so that's why, make no mistake, that's why they resort to the violence that they do.
Now, on the upside, too, we talked about it, but we haven't had you back to talk about it. Tell us where to find it. You have your own podcast, and part of that is you get to give voice. You give a platform, like you were given a platform, to other young women, other people that have gone through this. Tell us what you do in the podcast and where to find it.
Absolutely. The podcast, really the main mission, is to spread awareness and spread truth. It's called Gaines for Girls, which is, of course, a play on my last name, being Gaines, but the mission is to make gains for girls. That's what I'm hoping to do by it. And so I'll be having policy experts on, I'll be having elite athletes on, medical professionals to talk about some of the things that bog us down, especially, the general public when it comes to the science of it, and just people who have been affected by this. I have a podcast episode that drops tomorrow with a young girl, amplifying her voice and how she was affected by the gender ideology, propaganda being pushed when it pertained to a college, her college classes. So really, really exciting stuff. And you're right, I do aim to give girls a platform, because when I chose to speak out about this, I didn't feel like I had that home base. Of course, there's Fox News and there's different outlets where I was accepted, but young girls need to see and know that there is support. And that's exactly what I'm hoping to be to them.
We're talking with Riley Gaines, and you and I, when you've been on before a couple of times, we've talked about sports is probably the easiest way to make the case about how far this has gone. I told you I interviewed the daughter of Lee Smith, famous pitcher, Hall of Fame reliever, and she might make the Olympics, but she could not contend with the 22nd and 23rd ranked males, not in a weightlifting contest, but in 100-yard, 220 dash. Just couldn't keep up with. I mean, she came close a couple times. It just gives you an idea and how deflating that is to see these two guys posing as women they're mediocre ranked. She might be an Olympian. She comes from that, gene pool, if you will, of a superior athlete, and she can't do anything about it.
No, of course not. And I like how you said she can't do anything about it, regardless of training, regardless of diet, regardless of sleep schedule, weightlifting. There's nothing we as women can do to overcome that male advantage that you, of course, gain through puberty. There's nothing we can do. It feels, again, speaking from my own experience, going into that race, racing a 6'4", 22-year-old man, again, who the year prior was ranked only 462nd in the men's division. I felt like my hands were tied behind my back.
Exactly. So a positive notes we've seen in the cycling world, you can talk about that. I mean, it's a shame this has to be piecemeal, but each sport now, more and more sports are coming forward. But Megan Rapinoe, now retiring, I didn't see rousing people behind her when she said, well, why can't you have a, quote, trans woman or a trans individual play against women in soccer?
No. And the thing this issue is doing, it's showing who the cowards are. We've seen so many people be silent. And for a while, I could understand, and I had empathy, and I understood, these people have sponsorships, they have endorsements, they have jobs they can't lose, they have families, and they have to put food on their table. And I understood, but now I'm at the point, I've seen too many girls be injured. I've seen too many girls exploited in a locker room. I've seen too many girls lose out on opportunities, and I am no longer empathetic towards that silence, because silence is complicity, and that's how we've gotten here. So those other women who are a part of the National Women's Soccer League soccer team, who are being silent and who know this is wrong, shame on them. In the process of being silent, they're secretly advocating for men to take
Riley,
women's opportunities.
you were kind of calling out or highlighting is a nicer way of putting it. Some of the women that you said, and I agree with you, can't be canceled. Like Serena Williams might be the one that has the least to lose. It would be almost impossible to imagine canceling her. Martinez seems to be the one, but there it's blistering. They go after her. She's lesbian and has spoken out. She's one of the 5 greatest women tennis players in history, without a doubt. Are there others that you think have spoken enough?
Yeah, we've seen Bethany Hamilton speak out, and she was the first really professional American athlete to say something. And of course, she's the surfer who lost her arm to the shark attack. And she took a bold stance in saying, not only did she speak out against it, she said, I will no longer be competing in the WSL, which is the World Surf League, while this rule remains. And I thought that was so admirable. When I saw this, I showed the video to my husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. I was so excited, overjoyed. And I was hoping that would start more of a wave. But unfortunately, the social pressure is still too high, and people are still remaining silent. I do appreciate Martina's voice. I think she is unique for the exact reasons you mentioned. She's a lifelong liberal, right? She's a Democrat, but this is a hill she's willing to die on. And I actually had same thing, a lifelong liberal recently tell me, and this stuck with me so heavy. She said, "How can these people defend what they can't define?" And I thought, how true is that?
Exactly.
This is the party that prides themselves on feminism and fighting for women. But we have a sitting Supreme Court justice who won't even define what one is because she claims she's not a biologist. Well, guess what? I'm not a vet, but I know what a dog is. I mean, that's the stupidest excuse I've ever heard in my whole life. And we're seeing this consistently through the Biden-Harris administration and through Democrats at both the state and federal level.
Without a doubt. So where do we find the podcast? Where should people go?
Absolutely. You can find the podcast at outkick.com or anywhere where you stream your podcast, Spotify, Apple, any of those outlets. And again, it is Games for Girls.
Riley, good luck with this. I'm sure there'll be other projects coming up. And again, it's giving a voice. You're right that you have now a platform that's going to embolden more of these girls to speak out and hopefully more of these big-time athletes. Riley Gaines, welcome back again, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Dom.
All right, Dan, every time it gets better talking to Riley Gaines, you see the improvement, you see the uptick. Now, people think a magic wand. Why can't they? Serena Williams is a perfect example. You can't cancel Serena Williams. They would go nuts. Megan Rapinoe ought to debate Riley Gaines or a couple of these other people on this issue. It is the low-hanging fruit, and I think sports is the way to break through with this. It's such an obvious thing. Yet, again, the pushback is still there, still overwhelming. All right, phone lines to get in are 855-839-1210. President Trump has said more about being not just a target, but he has said he believes he'll be arrested and indicted. This is a much bigger one. In New York, people dismissed that with Alvin Bragg. The documents case, it's something we went back and forth with the archivist, and it's just a paper thing. Now, January 6th, though, now we're into the heaviest of heavy duty. He says he believes he'll be arrested. Apparently, it'll be imminent or surrendering. Jack Smith again on January 6th. Now we're getting to the core of this whole thing. All that's going to do, it's going to push up again Trump's numbers. That's the way that I see it. But this could happen. You can hear by the end of the show that this is the case, that Trump, there's a deadline next week or something. It could happen. All right, let's go to Marie in Feasterville. Marie on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Marie, welcome in.
Hi, I agree with Riley 100%. I saw something yesterday and it said, if genitals don't define gender, how does removing them affirm it?
That is well put, too. That is beautifully put. And look, I really believe the way to push back on this the most. And Riley, she's doing it day to day, Marie. We're seeing progress, though. It's women's sports. That's where people are seeing this the most, the craziness of this. And outfits like Moms for Liberty and what's going on in the schools. Those are the two touchstones where we're seeing people push back.
I would love to help Riley out in any way I can. I don't know if I can. I'm a retired health and phys ed teacher. I'm all for women's sports. I've coached everything. I am married to a husband with 2 children, and this just gets me so angry that this is going on. So if you could send us her contact number or put it over the air, I would love to be involved in any way I possibly can.
Let me put you on hold, and Dan, whatever you think is there a spot we can put in touch with Riley Gaines and what she's doing? I'm not sure. Okay, if you want to tell, she's there. Yeah.
It's RileyGaines.com. And then right on there, if you go to the bottom, you can hit contact us, and they are very quick to respond.
RileyGaines.com. Right? Gaines.
Yeah, RileyGaines.com.
All right, more calls coming up, including our buddy Megan Brock has something on this front. Another attack on Moms for Liberty with kind of a prize or an object you can use to attack them. Not physically, but wait until you hear what the newest hate object is against Moms for Liberty. That's straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, first, get ready for a merry surprise because Rescue Natural Supplements is throwing their annual Christmas in July sale. That's right, the holiday season is making a summer comeback, and they're bringing the gift of huge savings. That means all health supplements will be slashed up to 50, 60, and even 70% off site-wide. When talking savings on heart-healthy omega-3s, pain-relieving anti-inflammatories, and natural immunity boosters, but a whole lot more. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE. That's 800-262-5483. Speak to a rescue product consultant or shop online, res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, don't miss Rescue's Christmas in July sale. Get savings up to 70% off all natural solutions for your highs and lows, from blood pressure or cholesterol to low energy or testosterone. Rescue's got you covered. Hurry on over and unwrap the joy of a healthier you.
Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true?
All right, Dom Giordano Show. You got the side question today. What is your favorite last meal? That's what we're looking for. By the way, we're going to hear from Gordon Chang. A lot of stuff yesterday about all this Ukraine stuff and how if we stick it out in Ukraine, that will send a message to China. He is the world's expert on dealing with and stopping Chinese aggression to the best of our ability in all different ways. He'll be here at 2 o'clock. All right, there's a Los Angeles, the vice president of their FOP there, if you will, spoke out, told departing officers to find jobs where elected leaders appreciate their work and, quote, don't hate them.
I love it.
In a Facebook page. Yeah, I don't know if John McNesby, he doesn't usually, I mean, as much as he ratchets up the rhetoric, here's what she said. And again, it makes the point they do hate them. Progressives in Philadelphia, Larry Krasner supporters, they hate cops. Yeah, cut 9. Here's the VP of the FOP in LA talking about that.
Doretta Sandoz tells me she stands by her comment, explaining that she was offering advice to any LAPD officer who might want to leave the department for better benefits or leave a city that recently has not been supporting police.
I don't regret the comment because when officers go to, or even think about going to a new agency, they put a lot of time and work into it. And what I was trying to do is ensure that they went to an agency that pays them well, that values them, that respects the work that they do, that has a great pension.
Doretta tells me she wrote the comment on a community Facebook page geared towards police. That comment has since been deleted. The full comment read, "Go somewhere that respects the work you do and you don't have to beg for a great contract. Go somewhere that has a city council or city manager that openly acknowledges the great work you do. Go somewhere that doesn't have 2 or more city council members who hate you. No exaggeration." The union leader's advice about potentially leaving LAPD comes at a time when the department is down a staggering 1,000 officers.
All right, so let's go through it. Isaiah Thomas, the driving equality guy on Philadelphia City Council, he obviously hates cops. He thinks they're all racist. He's the one that's opened this stuff up more than almost anybody. Larry Krasner and his entire crew, they hate cops. The Socialist Party, those working party people, they hate cops.
Can we just go one by one, City Council?
Yeah.
Daryl Clark.
No, he doesn't hate cops.
Kenyatta Johnson.
To be determined.
Jamie Gauthier.
Yeah. Oh, she counts for 2. Put her down for 2.
Cindy Bass.
No.
No. I'll give you one more. How about Mark Squeala definitely cares for cops, I think. Yeah.
But how many voices? It's harder, isn't it, to say
Kendra Brooks
hates cops.
Yeah.
The Working Families Party. Yeah. How many voices are extremely pro-cop and say it publicly? I don't know about Squeala. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
No, there are not aggressive voices in city government that say we love what the cops do every day. Doesn't mean here and there's not going to be cops that should be punished. But by and large, we support them, know how hard this is, particularly in Philadelphia. Why don't we have that here? In LA, apparently the same thing. And this female doesn't regret putting up, they hate the cops. Yeah, that's the bottom line. All right, big 1 o'clock hour coming up. Here's how you get in, 855-839-1210.